on Times Now Super Prime Time.
Ravi Shankar Prasad, Deputy Leader of the Opposition, is representing the BJP and he's taking on Abhishek Manu Singhvi of the Congress in this one-on-one. Harish Salve will be joining the panel in a few minutes. So, Mr. Singhvi, are you trying to scare the CBI? Are you trying to scare the CBI because they are going after you on several other cases under the supervision of the Supreme Court?
Arnab, it would be amusing to suggest that the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister chose the Founders' Day celebrations of CBI to scare the CBI in a public speech. You must remember three aspects, Arnab, which is very crucial, and this is an important issue you are raising. First and foremost, I think this needed to be said. It is robust saying, it is upfront saying, any executive worth its name should say it. Second, what is it saying? Where there is pure policy, not only CBI, for that matter, any institutional body, be it CAG, be it the Election Commission, be it a statutory body, be it a constitutional body, they have no business to question policy. Equally, they have every business within their domain to question its implementation. How it is implemented, if there is culpability, criminality, distortion, favoritism in its implementation. Now I am going further, Arnab. There is an intermediate category between policy and operational implementation. Suppose I make a policy to favor the three of us, Arnab Goswami, Ravi Shankar Prasad and Abhishek Singhvi. Suppose I make, as they say, a single person legislation, I make a single person policy. Suppose I make something with a biased mind. That's a different category. Of course you can go into it.
Yeah.
But remember, a large part of what we are complaining about are cases which were in a non-discriminatory fashion.
Really?
Non-discriminatory.
You're sure of that, Dr. Singhvi?
Under a common, one minute.
You're sure of that, Dr. Singhvi?
Under a common policy.
Are you sure?
Under a common policy. Arnab, please. Let's not get rhetoric, Arnab. Under a common policy of the NDA and the UPA.
Sir.
A common policy.
Sir.
You are now questioning.
Name it. You're talking about Colgate.
Finding out notional losses.
Name it.
Notional losses.
We believe in being direct on the news. Now the question is, actually Ravi Shankar Prasad was laughing.
I'll give you.
One second. This is one of those rare occasions where you have made. I give you. You have the unique. First of all, Dr. Singhvi, may I say what a pleasure it is to have you back on the news after a long time. May I say that it is such a pleasure to see that you are having the fantastic effect of actually making Ravi Shankar Prasad laugh, which has happened after about a year at least. So I think we should celebrate these two occasions. On the third point, my question to you is without being rhetorical, Dr. Singhvi. Consider Colgate. Both the coal minister and the Minister of State for Coal were dead against any move to switch over to the auction process. Parak's letters say that Shibu Soren, Parak's letters say that Shibu Soren stalled a number of policy initiatives that were aimed at bringing in transparency. Now, should the motives behind that not be questioned? Because according to the Congress party, policy is a holy cow. According to the Congress party, policy is a holy cow that should not be questioned.
Arnab, let's make it a serious discussion. And
it's a very serious point.
Very quickly. I am the first person to say, yes, certain things can be questioned. If in this policy you find that there have been aberrations in application,
yes,
misuse,
yes,
in the application of a policy, giving to you and not giving to me on identical facts,
yes,
or vice versa,
yes,
I entirely agree. But where I'm objecting is you asked me to name examples, Arnab.
So
suppose I was to say that from from 95 to 2008, I'm just giving an example, Arnab, please listen to me. The policy of not auctioning spectrum, it causes a huge loss to the country. The country has suffered thousands of crores of loss because you ought to have auctioned spectrum. Question number two, you ought to have auctioned the waves which lead to space. And not having auctioned, you are actually suffering a huge loss for the country. That is totally beyond the domain of either a regulator or a person like CAG or CBI. But if under the spectrum policy, I have given more and more to some people, less and less to others.
Which is precisely what has happened in Colgate. Are you admitting your fault?
Both can happen. No, both can happen.
No, which is precisely what has happened in Colgate.
In Colgate, the policy... No, Arnab. In Colgate, the policy can be good and yet simultaneously it could have been wrongly
Sir,
applied.
let's not. No, please. No,
Five
please.
people.
No, please. Let's not give
But
ourselves.
that is
No,
not
what you.
to
No,
be able
what
to
you. What?
question
Let's
the
not give.
policy.
You see, you can't.
have to
You
find
can't be.
criminality
No,
on the basis
sir.
of the fact
So
of
how
that
can
allotment.
Mike? I put the question forward. How can policy formulation be immune from scrutiny? What the government is asking today is this is policy, and policy is a holy cow. I want blanket immunity from the process. Welcome to the debate, Harish Salve.
It's
Ravi Shankar Prasad's turn to respond. Ravi Shankar Prasad is responding, then Harish Salve joins in. Mr. Prasad?
Well, Arnav, in spite of sterling eloquence of my good friend Manu Singhvi, let me straight away say there is a context of the observation by the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister. The role of both the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister is under serious scrutiny. In the case of 2G of Mr. Chidambaram and the Prime Minister and the PMO, and in case of Colgate of the PMO and also the Prime Minister. We have debated this issue ad nauseum on your channel, and today the Supreme Court monitored investigation is going on into the Colgate files which were made to get suddenly lost. Now let me put things in a perspective. One is taking a policy decision or not taking a policy decision. Second, taking a policy decision in a malified manner to help patronize and support few people, chosen one, as happened in the case of Colgate. Thirdly, implementation of the policy in a corrupt, malified manner with gross impropriety. All the three, and second and third in particular, is relevant in the case of 2G, in the case of Commonwealth, in the case of Colgate. Now, the PM talked about the fear of the unknown haunting the officers. He forgot that when you implement a policy with gross impropriety, the fear of not the unknown, but the fear of the known is haunting the officers. Hence, there is a policy paralysis. In case of Parak, you have shown from documentary evidence that an honest coal secretary was trying to fight the system, did not get any patronage or protection from the PM or the PMO. Therefore, Arnav, all the three counts of the Prime Minister, policy domain, CBI should remain away, is wrong in the context. Certainly, if the policy is implemented wrongly, in a manner which is...
Don't you threaten the CBI?
CBI must intervene.
Don't you threaten the CBI? Don't you, as in your party? By the way, Dr. Singhvi wants to respond. Dr. Singhvi, I wanted to go to Harish Salve. Allow a quick rebut. Harish Salve, after this quick rebut, but I want to point out to the BJP tonight, you also... No, 1 minute. 1 minute. While the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister have issued their own words of wisdom, I'd like to remind you that your own party's Prime Ministerial candidate publicly warned the CBI officials recently, saying, and I quote, I warn CBI officers who are misleading the people and implicating officers and leaders in false cases. I am not scared of the CBI. Mr. Jaitley alleges that there is an attempt to somehow intimidate the investigation. How should Mr. Modi's comments be seen? Who doesn't intimidate the CBI? What do you want the CBI to become? Caught between the Congress and the BJP? No, you see.
No, not the least. We want...
Of course, Mr.
Please allow me to at least respond or no?
Yeah.
We want the CBI to work in a professional manner. They bail out Mulayam Singh Yadav and Mayawati when they become well disposed toward the Congress party. They implicate them when they become hostile against them. Is it a fact or not? And I'm sorry to say that the manner in which the CBI has been abused by the Congress party to implicate Narendra Modi's government in a series of matters is a matter of serious concern. What we are saying is based upon evidence.
Dr. Singhvi is rebutting.
IB officials have been implicated.
Dr. Singhvi is rebutting you now.
Even the IB was opposed as to how CBI was going to be abused.
Dr. Singhvi is rebutting you now. We are going beyond the subject, but yes, we will go ahead with a rebut. Yes.
Arnav, I want to make three quick points. Firstly, it is amusing that when Prime Minister and Finance Minister in a Founders' Day public speech are speaking, they are accused of intimidating the CBI. And when Mr. Gadkari, before Mr. Modi and then Mr. Modi, categorically say that the CBI should wait because we are going to come into power, that is not intimidation. Point number two, the examples given by the BJP repeatedly earlier also are irresponsible because 90% of the examples of alleged misuse of CBI are actually an allegation against the Supreme Court because they involve closely court-monitored investigations by no less than the apex court. Now, if you can interfere with the CBI in a Mayawati or a Samajwadi Party Supreme Court monitored investigation, then you are actually
Sir,
making
what I'm saying tonight is that this Venia, no.
Thirdly, let me complete. Let me complete.
How the CBI
one
change
second, thirdly, let me
Manu?
complete, please. Now let's start. One second. If it changes the affidavit, please complain to the Supreme Court, which is monitoring every word of it.
Yeah, but
what
of course it's...
Are you suggesting the Supreme Court?
No, of course it is. The Prime Minister... No, one second.
Let me finish.
1 minute. No.
1 minute. Arnab, 1 minute.
Dr. Singhvi,
1 minute only.
Let me point out you are on slippery ground.
I don't want to repeat. Arnab, half a second, please. I don't want to repeat what I've said earlier about the 3 levels which I've divided it into: pure policy,
what pure
policy for
Doctor,
somebody, and implementation
what
of policy.
Is pure policy?
But I'm on a different point.
What is pure policy?
Whole concept of accountability.
No, 1 second. Dr. Singhvi, you're getting a rebut from Harish Salve coming into the debate. I asked tonight what is pure policy. According to A. Raja... No, 1 second.
Third point.
Harish Salve's rebut is being allowed now before your third point.
Let me complete my third point.
Sir, okay, third point and then Harish Salve.
Let me take
go
half
ahead.
a minute, Arnab. It won't take more than half a minute if you don't interrupt me. My third point is that this debate is about accountability. I fail to understand that in a true democracy, there is anything or anybody of the kind which is not accountable to anything. Neither the EC nor the CAG nor the CBI are supposed to be non-accountable in that sense. There is operational autonomy is all that we are looking for. It is not that they are so unaccountable and so unanswerable to anybody.
The point...
Operational, yes, totally separate.
No, you are...
Tomorrow if the Chief Election Commissioner wants to go and give us...
So Dr. Singhvi, now Harish Salve is rebutting you. I asked this question as I go to Harish Salve, what is pure policy? A. Raja said, my policy is the pure policy. First come, first served is the pure policy. That's what A. Raja said, so we are not supposed to question him. Harish Salve. Harish Salve.
As a lawyer, the answer is fairly simple. Unfortunately, the way, and I normally don't make any political comments, but I'm sorry to say the way this country has been run for the last 3 years has obfuscated these lines. Normally, the content of a policy is not what is investigated, but if you have arrived at that content for a dishonest motive, you cannot say this is my policy and you cannot go behind it. Let me give you an example. Whether or not natural resources should be auctioned for the highest value is policy. But if you are going to decide do not auction because I want to favor somebody, that's a dishonest decision. So the decision-making process is always open to scrutiny, except that of Parliament. When Parliament passes a legislation, you cannot go into the bona fides of a legislation. Any executive decision, and a policy is an executive decision, the decision-making process is open to judicial scrutiny, is open to criminal scrutiny. So let's get it very clear. If the CBI says we do not agree that the government should do A instead of B, they are out of line. But if they are looking at was this decision taken as a genuine decision, wise or unwise is not for us, or was this decision taken to favor somebody, that is a matter of criminality which has to be investigated.
Mr. Salve, interesting point, but you see what the government wants, Mr. Salve. Abhishek Manu Singhvi wants it. Mr. Salve, you know what the government wants? The government wants to say this is policy and you have no business questioning us on policy. You have no business trying to go into the issue of whether it's malafide or not malafide. This is policy.
Arnab, let's be very clear.
And we define that that's a Chinese...
Let's be very clear. Now, unfortunately, what is happening today, there are 3 areas where the government has been found faltering. The manner in which it has arrived at policy decisions in a large number of cases has been found to be highly questionable, i.e. the 2G pricing. The manner in which certain people invariably get benefited and certain people get left out of its policies make those policies suspect. And thirdly, even where a policy is otherwise possibly within the realm of policy making, the manner of its implementation is arbitrary. Now, let me tell you, if a policy is framed but followed in its breach, you cannot then divide this into watertight compartments.
Exactly.
That only means that you were never genuinely framing a policy. That was a fig leaf, and what you were really doing is doling out private largesse.
And if there was
the way in which the country has been run, I'm sorry to say, in the last 1 year, and a lot of good is going down with the bad. Now, let me tell you, I've read the Hindalco FIR, and I think that Hindalco FIR is possibly clearly out of line. But on the other hand, in a large number of cases, including 2G, let me tell you, I defended the 2G. But what ultimately came out from the files was the manner in which Mr. Raja arrived at that decision. He bypassed the finance ministry, he bypassed the Prime Minister's suggestions, etc., etc. So the decision-making process showed you wanted to favor, and then you link it to the manner in which it is worked.
No, the argument of the government is, the simple argument of government, Abhishek Singh, I'm allowing you to rebut. I'm only, making a point. Argument of the government is, we are elected, we are government, we are executive, we know policy because we know public interest. No, we know public interest. And I would like to remind the Congress spokesperson today, the Supreme Court said that what Raja did was quote-unquote wholly arbitrary, capricious and contrary to public interest, besides being violative of the doctrine of equality. Now, if I were to apply the argument that Mr. Chidambaram and the Honorable Prime Minister have put over the last 48 hours, then we should not question how the manner in which Raja introduced the cut-off date.
Arnab,
no, we should not question it because it's policy.
Arnab, please.